Have no video. Why? I was just live. Okay, now I've got video. Okay, it's just Streamlabs giving me a hard time on this side. That never happens. So, what's up to Patrick? Glad you made it. Says evening, Nikki and everybody. Hope you're enjoying Christmas. Sending blessings from Britain. Yeah, it's a happy Christmas to you. It's so far it's just another day. Really, I have the last 2 or 3 years, at least the last 2 years. I I had learned that the networks, probably CBS, would air The Wizard of Oz. At first, I thought it was on Christmas, and then I actually said that to somebody who was alive back then, and they're like, "Well, they aired it for Christmas, so like around Christmas time, not specifically on the day." So like, oh, my bad. So, but I was already watching it on Christmas Day, just to watch it. I think I just watch it once a year. End up watching it once a year. That's a good time to do it. I didn't want to do it today. I would have felt like I was squeezing it in because I watched my own show. I watched my previous show before I go live for this. My camera's a little bit high, like wasted high. Oh, it would have just been too much to. I want to relax and enjoy it while I'm watching it. Unlike the actors who had to perform it and they're all twitchy and high on uppers and all of that. So I might watch it tomorrow or on here in the weekend area sometime. That way I can just sit back and chill and drink some eggnog that I bought a couple of weeks ago. That shit is so fucking expensive. It's like 646 or 664 for a half gallon, quarter gallon. It's expensive as shit. I'm still gonna buy more. What the hell ever. It's not if they sold it all year long, I wouldn't. I just whatever. Oh, Lisa Gray, what's up? Glad to see ya. Says hear you. Just popping in to say hello. Sun and Tribe arriving shortly, and I'm trying not to burn the roasting turkey. Yeah, don't burn the turkey. Oh, Patrick, yeah, Boxing Day now. Everyone will be out trying to get bargains in sales. Yeah. Dragon Sage, what's up? Merry Christmas from St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. What's up to ya? All the way in Canada and England. I saw Francois at my test stream just earlier, so what's up to him? I'm gonna check my audio now, just in case. Um, let's see. Oh wait, gotta go to my show first on my phone because YouTube won't show you your own live stuff for your own channel on the TV app. Okay, now I can. Maybe. Live. Your own live stuff for your own channel on the TV app. Yeah, with my audio from 1932. And maybe it's from 1933 now. Oops. It's better than it was the last time I had to cover these episodes. I had my computer plugged in to charge up since when I do a show, it's about on 20% battery power. And then if I go live before I'm supposed to technically be live, of course, it's going to eat into the battery. And I was just trying to look out for the laptop, and Logitech didn't like that. Oh, there he is. Oh, what's up, Francois? Is there a strange scratch-like sound like if a jack isn't plugged in properly? But I suppose it's UBS. I have the camera and the microphone is one Logitech piece of shit, and that's plugged in. And if you know how to get rid of the hiss sound through Streamlabs, please let me know because I do not. That's why I'm letting everybody know my microphone is from 1932 because that's how it sounds. And I can't find where to fix it, and nothing about it is intuitive. And when you go to look something up, they don't really give you any information other than like you should use a good microphone. You should suck my dick and send me a good microphone. I don't have $250. So they don't give you information. They give you an article, but they don't give you information. Um, and it's frustrating to get into. I don't know why my brain doesn't want to click in and let me learn that stuff. So it just sucks, and I'm always nervous and sweating when I'm on camera because of that. You just gotta try to hide it really well. What's up, Modus? And I've forgotten who I've said hi to already. So I just did a little test show. Dandy, what's up? Hope everyone had a Merry Christmas. Greetings. Yeah, what's up? Francois, I don't think the mic is the issue. Yeah, it's the camera. It's got to be a setting that's within Streamlabs that I just don't know about, and they won't tell me about. Honestly, and it does say the camera is 1080p, but then I watch my own show back, and it's like sometimes it glitches all the way down to 480p. Sometimes it looks like it wants to chill somewhere between 1080p and 720p. It gets mad at me when I, with my dead hair, when I wear my gray Puma shirt, then it really drops down to 480p. And that's sad. It's all brand new equipment as of roughly August, beginning of August, and it performs work like new laptop, new camera, because my last camera from China that I bought from Amazon killed my last laptop. So all this is brand new stuff, and it works worse than what I was using for a year and a half prior. Moda says he's eating Christmas egg rolls. Oh man, was it last year? You want to watch? I think it was. Yeah, Steve 1989 MRE info. A couple of years ago, he bought his own freeze dryer and made his own meal one time and packaged it and judged it the way he usually does. But he got on the kick of freeze drying eggnog. And every once in a while, he does eat something and he can't stop. But this man, it was like crack cocaine. This man had like this heap of freeze dried eggnog, chunks, cubes, whatever you want to call it, and he could not stop, just could not stop. The whole like, oh my god, it must be that good. So I had to go out and buy some. Like, dude, if it's great as a liquid, what if it's had a crunch to it? Dragon Sage, I'm in a hotel room with no guitars or bows, sadly. You can't burn incense in a hotel room either. I think that's bullshit. Like, I'm not smoking it. It's just to make it smell like a frankincense or a patchouli or sandalwood is good also. Yeah, hope everybody's having a good, not Thanksgiving, Christmas. I thought it was going to be Thanksgiving a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, maybe that's not right because we're in December. Oh, nice. A Dragon Sage. But it was playing guitar at my buddy's house. Oh, good. Thomas Collins said, my godchildren had Father Christmas bring me boglins for Christmas present time. Is that like a hoglin? I'm not aware of. There's swamps in Minecraft. I don't. You don't need any more critters in that game. The last thing I need is some kind of swampy bog monster fighting you when you're trying to get the. What kind of trees are those? I like them, but they're such a fucking pain in the ass to harvest because you don't just plant it. It's got to shoot straight up in the air. So you've got these vines that you can break down, and then like the actual log for the tree isn't until you're like 5 blocks up, and it's this nice red wood. It's not actual red wood, but it's the closest you can get to it. I know, Dandy. What is a boglin? Oh, puppets? That's cute. Or is it like like a puppet like you can put your hand in, or a ventriloquist dummy, or just like little dolls or something? A puppet could mean anything, like a Muppet puppet. You can make it talk. Dragon say, damn spell wrecker. I know that's right. Uh, that's white paper anyway. I'm so glad I bought more yellow paper. If I had to look at white paper to do these, oh my god. It's not quite 75 in here. It must be warm outside. Modus said legalized tomatoes. Only if you turn them into something. Only if you turn them into. Oh, I don't have Twitch open yet. Only if you turn them into like pizza sauce, marinara sauce, something like that. Then it's okay. I need a pen as well. I'm so prepared for this. Uh, okay. Feeling kind of fat. I was able to eat a week or so ago. It's feast or famine around here. Thomas Collins' British cartoon show, rubber latex hand with rolling eye controls. Oh, nice. That sounds creepy as hell. Oh, wrong one. Okay. Audio seems to be sticking with me so far. That doesn't need to be there. You can't see that. Oh, I misspoke last time. I said, maybe it was wishful thinking. I had said that, for Art Pop, that, How Bad Do You Want Me was a single. It wasn't. It was Do What You Want. That letter U in there confused me. But Do What You Want was the single with R. Kelly. There's a better version of it without him on the track. I just personally want How Bad Do You Want Me to be a single. I just want more people to hear it. If I found out she was turning that song into a single, don't let me find out while I'm live because I will scream at the top of my lungs and the audio might not pick me up, but if it does, I don't want to do that to you, but that's what would happen. That's why I'm not checking for news up or not news updates. I don't follow the news. That's why I'm not checking for updates. How would I even find that out? Because I don't follow Gaga on social media. I don't even follow her on YouTube. Huh. I'm sure it would get recommended to me as many remixes as I listen to. They're just in the recommended anyway. I do often check though. I'll go to Lady Gaga Mayhem album and scroll down, and it lists the singles, and it's just the two so far. Dandy said I just looked them up. They're creepy. LOL. Modish, yeah, that R. Kelly. It was 2013 when that album came out. As weird of a choice as it was to work with him for that song, nobody might have noticed, but then they turned it into a single, and then everybody noticed, and they even performed it live somewhere. I forget where. Jump ahead to now. I want to say that it's not even on Spotify. A few years ago, I guess she decided to take it off. That's why Spotify is bad. They're deciding what music you can listen to. Rather than YouTube, you can listen to whatever you want and make your own damn playlist. Spotify's radio with extra steps. So yeah, Dark Shadows. Last time we left off, it's basically Matthew ran off, but he came back, and then Victoria found him in the old house, and he can't let her leave, so he's got her tied up in this secret room that's behind a bookcase in the drawing room, and nobody knows where she is. Everybody's looking for her. They've searched the old house, but nobody knows that room is there. And as she's been bound and gagged, can't make a sound. And it just sucks. She's just stuck in there. And I'm sure it's cold and scary and musty and dusty and cobwebs and can't sleep and sitting in a chair on your ass the whole night. Can't move your arms. It's got to be uncomfortable as hell. Modish, yeah, Diddy probably had his booty. I'm sure they did. They're all on the down low. Gross. None of that stuff on Dark Shadow. So there is like one definitely, like the actor is definitely Gay, extremely gay. The character isn't, but he, oh man, that'll be fun when that pops up because that character just shows up one day and then we have to deal with his name. It's I don't know if it was funny back then, but it's hilarious now. But that's not for a few hundred episodes. But the last thing we saw in the last episode was David was finding out from the sheriff that if someone helps Matthew, that person will be an accessory and they could face jail time for helping out a criminal. David hears this, and this is one of the first times we've really seen him scared about consequences in the whole show. And he goes to see Matthew, and he's lets him know that he's like, "Well, if I help you, I'll be arrested and I don't want to go to jail." And so he's just there at the old house. He's upset about that. So we are on episode 122. This aired on December 13th, 1966. And it is still day 19. We see in the secret room, Victoria's there. She hands behind her back, and she's got this. It's sort of like a nice handkerchief. It might even be silk, but that's what she's got. It's completely around her mouth. It seems to be so tight that if she were to just like, if you're just in the room with the actress and she tried to talk, it would be kind of muffled. So she's really not screaming and making too much noise. But it is morning. We're in the drawing room. And Matthew's just reassuring David, is you won't go to jail. Just calm down. The cop just told you that to scare you. And David hears this, and he sort of glances over at the bookshelf, and Matthew's like, "What are you looking at?" "It's just a bookshelf and ghosts that make funny noises. Well, what else could be behind there?" David, yeah, that's all that's in here. Uh-huh. I agree. Intro credits, we come back, and Matthew is telling David, "Don't come here anymore unless you have to." David's like, "Well, will you be leaving tonight?" As I'll tell you when the cops leave, and I'll sneak you some more food so you won't have to make any stops. And Matthew, "That's a good idea, David. You do that. So I'll see you later. Bye." Gets him out the door. "Oh, what's up, John Rogers? Glad you made it." Over in the secret room, Matthew goes in there, takes Victoria's gag off, said, "You tried to get David's attention. Don't push me." Victoria's like, he thinks it's ghosts. I wasn't trying to get David's attention. I heard some strange noise and I got scared, so I screamed. And do you really think you can trust David? What if he just assumes I'm in here and happens to tell someone? He's afraid to get in trouble. You've heard him. You should just leave me here and run. Matthew's like, "Nope, you heard David. There's cops out there everywhere looking for me. It only takes one to put a bullet in my back. I only gotta trust him until tonight." It does seem like Matthew's getting a little more paranoid. It might be the lack of sleep, lack of food, and just the adrenaline, but you do get the idea. Like before, he seemed to 100% trust David, but as Victoria's kind of getting under his skin, he's thinking about it more. The fact that David's suspicious of what's behind the bookcase is making him not want to trust him. All right, so we are in the living room at Collinwood. Carolyn is wearing this. It's this double-breasted, dark-colored fabric. It's a skirt outfit, so it's two pieces, but they're both the same color. And she picks up the phone to call Burke. She wears a ring on her little finger, on her pinky finger. We'll get into our finger ring meanings, maybe episode 210 or so. But yeah, ring on the pinky finger. Lisa says, cheers all, off to baste the bird and make the salad. Love and best wishes, Nikki and Gag. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great meal. Smash that like button on the way out. Helps out the channel. So we're up in Burke's room, and he has not shaved. He's wearing a bathrobe. Not like he's nude under it, but like you wake up and just, throw a robe on over your PJs. Looking kind of rough. Here's Carolyn. First thing out of his mouth. Any news about Vicky? And Carolyn, oh, the cops have looked everywhere and they left. My mom and Uncle Roger say I can't see you anymore. Burke's like, can we talk about this another time? I've been up all night. I'm waiting on a call. And, okay, bye. Finally backing off the man for half of a second. So David comes in and he's looking for his dad, but Carolyn lets him know that Liz and Roger, they're both resting and everyone's exhausted from the night before. So David asks, do you think Matthew could hurt anyone? Carolyn says, I didn't think so until Bill's death, and accident or not. Francois bathrobe like the Big Lebowski. I only know that from memes. I know I need to see it. That's like your opinion, man. But David says, well, what if it was someone else? Carolyn's right, and this someone else tried to kill Vicky 3 times. Like with the car when they tried to run her down when she was walking back from town. David says, well, my father was out driving that night. Carolyn says, you must really be a little monster to think that about your father, to think he would try to hurt Vicky. So how did he push the urn off of the roof of the old house when he was in jail? That's when he was locked up, when they were getting that alibi for him, because they just found him digging up the pen up on Widow's Hill. So David says, Matthew wouldn't have done that. You only believe what you want to. Carolyn doesn't respond to that. She says, face it, if Matthew has Victoria, we're never going to see her alive. And she's got to go. She leaves. Thomas Collins, the dude abides. Oh, Francois, I confess I know nothing about Dark Shadows. That's okay. I was like that too. That's good. Yeah, see, that's another reason why I'm starting from the beginning, because there's folks that have never seen the show. Folks that have seen the show haven't seen the beginning. So this is gonna touch on the beginning stuff before we get into what everybody else has mostly seen, what kept the show on the air for another 4 years. But we're back in Burke's room, and he's on the phone. He's trying to get a hold of Mr. Blair's money guy, but that guy's out. Burke's like, out? Well, have him call me as soon as he gets back. And hangs up. Knock on the door. Just, what? And we hear David, so he's... Gotta be nice. He never really wants to be nice to David, but we're really pushing his limits right here. All right, let's David come on in. And right away, David's asking, do you think my dad's responsible for that accident 10 years ago? Maybe he killed Bill, and he's the one who tried to kill Victoria. And what if my dad is guilty and Matthew's innocent? Burke's like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you want me to say? David's like, I want you to tell me that my dad's responsible for everything. Burke really does not have, he doesn't say that. He does not have time for this. But he can't even tell David that because the phone rings, so he's back on the far side of the room, picks up the phone. Like, oh, there you are, Blair. All right, well, these local cops suck. I want you to hire like a private police, a detective, whatever, spare no expense. We have to find Victoria. Just get it done. Just hangs up. So when he turns around to talk to David again, David's gone. The front door's open. He just effed off when he was on the call. It's okay. Oh, Patrick says, Francois, same here. I think there are some episodes on YouTube. There might be. YouTube does say that they have Dark Shadows, but when you click on it, they tried to revive the series in the early 2000s, and that's what that is. I personally have not seen it. I'm not covering it here. They have that's not what we're on. If you go to the description for this show or this channel, I've got links for where you can watch this on Tubi for free, and you can watch that on your phone, your smart TV, probably your PlayStation, a lot of platforms it's on. It breaks the series up into two parts, but that's fine because they get the numbering correct. I've also got the link for they have it on Internet Archive, and that's fine, but they don't have the numbering system will be off as soon as you get to episode 109. There's not a 109. The only reason that would throw you off is if you want to look up that episode, like you can't type in episode 109 on the Dark Shadows wiki, nothing's going to come up. So you would have to know what number episode to find that on the wiki if you were trying to look it up that way. Pardon me. Nose is a bit drippy. But that's all for free. It's I got the Internet Archive one from Tumblr. I checked the link. It works. It is also on Last I Knew Pluto TV, but it's weird. They've only got episode 210 through like 858. They cut off somewhere in the 800s. I don't know why. I mean, I'm glad they do have that, but they don't have all of it. Um, but it's free. That's the point. Oh, Patrick says, I know, Nikki, they have ones from the 60s. Oh, great. Yeah, if you can find it online, do it. If you can find it for free, go for it. I went so far as to get the box set from Amazon. It was just north of $400 a couple of years ago. If, don't go that far unless you have an addiction. That's not a necessary step. You can enjoy the show completely free. It's really not vital to have that. But again, what if you're in a spot where the power is on, but the Wi-Fi is off, and you still want to watch episodes? That's what I was thinking of. Oh, sweet, Francois. Yeah, he says, I just found Dark Shadows original episodes on YouTube. More than 1,000 episodes. Yeah, it does have, the official count is 1,000. What was that? Oh, that's nothing. That's just a premiere. The official count is 1,245. That doesn't figure in the episodes that don't exist, but that's the official count. If you see it written 1,225, that's a typo that's on the box set, and suddenly it's just everywhere, but that's not what it is. Francois, 1,022 episodes, that'll take a lifetime to watch them. Ugh. Add about 200 to that. Not really, because they're only a half an hour long, which means they're only 22 minutes long. And if you're not writing down what's happening to talk about it later, they fly by so fast. I started in January 2024, and the only reason I was done in April is because I made a conscious effort to slow down. But I was going to work, watching Dark Shadows, going to quite frankly watching Dark Shadows. That is literally all I did if I was not working, and everything. So they do go by fast. And then when you get done, you can just watch them again. Plus, there's two movies that they made back in the early 70s. Don't watch the movies before I've watched the TV show. Do not do that. And careful looking it up online because you're going to get spoilers. But anyway, back to the episode. We're in the secret room. And Matthew, he's been up all night at this point. So is Victoria, it seems like. So he is just nodding out. He's barely keeping his eyes open. He's like, I can't go to sleep. You'll try something. And Victoria's back in the chair. She's barely got her eyes open herself. She's like, I'm too tired to try anything. So he's got to go. He's going to try to lie down. So before he does that, he's got to gag her again. I probably couldn't sleep if I was gagged either. Says, you know what'll happen if you try anything. But then he starts hearing a lady's voice saying his name. So he notices that real quick. Mentions it to Victoria. No, I didn't hear anything. Matthew's like, well, I didn't imagine it. I really do think he's been up this whole time. He's starting to hallucinate a bit, maybe. But we see out in the drawing room Josette's portrait, and that starts to glow. It starts to light up. Back in the secret room, Victoria's saying, nobody's out there. Matthew says, well, I'm going to check. Opens the door. He's sticking his head out. Looking for voices, looking for anybody. Nobody's there. But he says, who's there? Then we hear this lady's voice saying, I am. I'm Josette Collins. Look over at the portrait and it's glowing again. Matthew's freaked out. He runs back into the secret room. Said, you heard it, didn't you? There's voices and there's lights on Josette's picture. So he unties Victoria. He might even cut the rope. Drags her out into the drawing room. And now we see the portrait. It's not lit up at all. But he's showing it to where he's like, I didn't imagine it. You think I'm going crazy. Victoria, I don't. You were probably just sleepwalking and you dreamt it. Matthew, yeah, that must have been it. No man saw or heard such things in his right mind. And then we hold on to Josette's picture for the credits. Let's check the audio. Just in case. I was so glad it stuck with me for my entire last show. Or over, down, enter, work. The audio. Yeah, that's pretty much it. About as good as it gets. Bump this cord every single time. Ah. Patrick says audio sounds great here. Good, yeah. Now, as far as watching Dark Shadows goes, if you just want to jump into episode 210 and get ahead of me, you're allowed to. Like I say, they do go by fast, so if you do want to start from the beginning and watch all those and get caught up with these, maybe that's what you want to do. I don't know which would be better, to hear me talk about it. I'm probably doing too many spoilers. You probably want to watch it for yourself. I don't know. I really don't know. What would be better? What would be worse? I don't want to spoil anything for anybody ahead of time, but because the actors are going to do it better than me and do it justice and like stuff Liz wears and everything. But I mean, it's okay if you do want to start with episode 210 and you'll be way ahead of me, so you'll be ahead of what I'm doing. Just don't be putting spoilers into the comment section or anything like that. As a rule, you don't want to post spoilers until something has been out for 2 weeks. I know it's been longer than 2 weeks since these episodes have aired, but still. Alright, episode 123 aired on December 14th, 1966. We're still in day 19. It is daytime. And in the drawing room, we can see that corner of the room that's camera right. So it's always, again, if, well, we see it more when that set's not being used all the time, and then it gets to a point where that set's being used all the time, and the camera just never thinks to turn that way. So that's why I'm on about it now. Oh, Thomas Collins says, it's your review we love. Oh, thank you. Francois says, I'll watch them from the beginning. No worries, I'll forget any spoilers. Yeah, after so many hundreds of episodes go by, some things might slip away, and then you watch it again, and it's like seeing it for the first time. So it happens to me too, where I thought I remember in an episode and somebody says something hilarious, like, I can't believe I forgot that joke. But Matthew Morgan is there in the drawing room, and he's just questioning what he just saw and heard. He's looking up at that portrait. You're just a picture, but I swear I saw you. Why are you doing this to me? And the picture starts to glow. He says, no! And he runs out. If I'm looking at a picture and it starts to glow, I'd be scared too. So I'm with him on that. Thomas Collins, a 1966 episode. Yeah, we're right in the end of 1966. Over at the Collinsport Inn, door opens up and Joe walks in, and dude, he's just dirty AF. He's got that horrible corduroy jacket on. It's probably more like a coat, and like he had that nice sweater on, terrible coat over it, but it's all dusty. It's dark colored fabric, so they use some kind of light colored dust to just get it all funkied up. It looks like he's been rolling around in a gravel driveway for an hour. It's really bad. That's got to go. It needs to go into the trash. The dry cleaner can't help that. He looks tired as hell too. Actor is not shaved. Just goes to the counter. Dude just looks whooped. Looks like he has not slept. Maggie's there. She pours some coffee for both of them, and Joe's letting her know they've been up. They were up looking for Victoria all night, and then all day they've been up on the cliffs at the beach. They've been through the woods. Just nothing. I did notice the menu. There's fewer items up there. They're using taller letters. And the coffee is up to 20 cents. It was 10 cents before. Now it's 20. So that's, I looked it up before. If 10 cents was $1 now, then 20 cents back then is $2 now. It's kind of a lot. You do get free refills though, but maybe it's the holidays and they're doing a price hike. Maggie's just, oh, don't worry, she'll turn up. It's like, I don't know if Collinsport is going to pot or if this town's really starting to swing. Not like she's happy about somebody getting kidnapped. It's just that this is the. She gets to hear all the news first thing in the diner before the newspaper comes out, so she's used to getting all the good gossip. Like, she's friends with Victoria. She doesn't want her to be kidnapped. But Maggie mentioned something about Carolyn or something about Joe being too busy for other people, and Joe says that he and Carolyn have officially crossed each other off of their Christmas card list permanently. And Carolyn is just not who he thought she was. And in fact, last night he went up to Burke Devlin's room and she was up there. And he took a swing at Burke, but Carolyn broke it up. But truth be told, he would have liked to have given her a chop or two himself. Violet? But right as he's saying this, through the doors that lead to the rest of the hotel, this lady comes walking in. This blonde lady, 30s. She's got this fabric of this. It's like a two-piece. It's a double-breasted skirt outfit. So it's got the top with the lapels, and like the skirt's the same fabric, kind of light colored. It looks super thick, like you would not have to wear a coat with it. But she's got this hat on. It does cover her head. It's like the top brim is pulled up. In the back, it's just down. She's got this blonde hair that's all up, off of the shoulders and all that. Wearing gloves. She's got her purse there, and she doesn't look at them right away. She's just looking at the rest of the room like, yeah, this is how it looks. Like, not in a snobby kind of way, just kind of trying to equal it up with what she imagined it would look like, kind of a look, and just takes a seat by herself away from them. But of course they notice that, and now they're talking a little bit lower, and so Joe turns back around to Maggie. Like, who's that? Maggie, I don't know. Joe's like, there's something familiar about her. And they do a close-up on her, a little bit heavy on the eye makeup, which I guess all of the ladies kind of suffer from that, is TV makeup, plus it's the 60s where they just put absolutely everything on. Great cheekbones. I don't know if you can see it here, but I do notice that she's wearing like a shiny, light-colored lipstick. I couldn't tell you exactly what color, but it does come off as shiny. It's not matte. It's kind of not glittery, but just shiny. But we go from the blonde lady to seeing David in the woods. And he's got that, paper bag full of food, just walking through. But he stops because he sees Matthew outside of the old house. And just kind of waits for Matthew to just walk off far enough away. But he's going away into the old house. He goes inside. And I don't know if I've mentioned this too much before, but in the back, we got that picture of Josette. We've got that corner of the room that we don't get to see later on. But then over here, there's a door that just leads to, it's a hallway. It must lead to the kitchen and other parts of the house. We don't see that door open that much, but right now it is open, so we can see that it's a hallway. But Matthew goes right across the drawing room into the secret room, closes the door. And as soon as he does, David walks in with a big old bag of groceries and is hollering for Matthew. Nobody's around. Matthew's there on the other side of that bookshelf, and I told you there were these two shelves on the back wall that are about head height for the actor. Now, up on the left, there's this. It's another shelf about maybe like chin high, about the same height as that second shelf in the back, and it's just got a couple of objects on it, like a candlestick with no candle in it, just kind of standing up there. So he's got his hand on that, and he's listening, just his ear right next to the door, listening for David. And as Matthew's listening, he's not really paying attention, so his fingers hit that candlestick and it falls over. So, of course, David hears a noise behind the bookshelf. But again, he can't see anybody who really knows where that came from. He's a little bit creeped out, so he just backs out and leaves. Now we're on the porch, and we're looking through those two busted windows that are right about eye level for the camera. There's the bay windows, and you got the two side panels. It's one of those side sets of windows. Both the windows are just busted out. So that's us. We're looking through those. And right across the way is the bookshelf. And as we're looking at it, we see the bookshelf just open right on up like a door. And Matthew walks out. And like he usually does, he walks out of that door, he goes up to the bay window, and he's looking outside, making sure the coast is clear, nobody's around. He doesn't see anybody, but the camera backs up, and there's David with his back against the wall. There's shutters for those side windows, but that's pushed up against the wall. He's got his back up against that, so he's just small enough that Matthew could not see him with his back pressed up against there. So he did not know that opens up. So then we go back into the restaurant, and the lady is sitting there with her gloves off now. And it starts out with a really close shot of her hand because she's just spinning her wedding ring, just kind of casually around her finger. Doesn't have a big old rock on it. They didn't have gaudy rings the way you see folks wearing now. It might have some stones inside of the band, but just very tasteful ring. Just playing with it. So Maggie walks over, hands her a menu. Just, lady, oh, thank you. Maggie goes back to the counter, and Joe's still sitting there looking at this woman. It's like, I've seen her somewhere before. Maggie's like, I don't care about that. Tell me what happened after Carolyn broke up the fight. So Joe, oh, yeah, so Joe had said that Victoria was missing, and then Bert got way more upset than I expected. And when I brought up Victoria, it was like he forgot Carolyn even existed. So Maggie says, yeah, he seems like the type to be interested in women in general. Joe says if that's the kind of type she wants, there's no future for us. And then Maggie has the biggest smile on her face we've ever seen. She cannot hide it. Like, that's the worst news I've heard all day. Could not be happier. But Joe's got stuff to do. He's got to go, so he takes off through the main entrance there. Maggie grabs a cup of coffee urn, takes it over to the lady, pours her a cup, heads back to the counter. And the lady gets up about a second later, goes to the counter, asks for a glass of water. Maggie, sure, pours it for her. So the lady asks, have you worked here long? Maggie said, about 5 years. Lady asked if she knows Grace. Maggie's like, yeah, that's the late girl whose spot I took. You from around here? And as she's talking, she's got one of the menus up on the wall. It's like these two separate boards. She's got one of those down, and she's fiddling with the letters. Oh, but yeah, the lady is she's from Collinsport originally. Talking about the town hasn't changed much. Still got the same feeling, the salty ocean, seagulls, and dock noises, and old buildings. Things that were a part of my life until a few years ago. So Maggie asks, oh, did you come here from Boston on a bus? This is when I noticed I don't know how she was wearing it with the gloves on, but on her right hand, she's got this giant round ring, mostly flat, but it's got four stones in it, and then one in the center, and it's the rest of it is looks like some kind of enamel in a darker color. Huge friggin' ring right there. Looks cool as hell. But she's really good about sidestepping questions. She's like, "Oh, I'm staying at the hotel," and she reaches into her purse, pulls out her cigarettes and her matches. And Maggie notices, and at first I thought she was just, oh god, she's gonna smoke in front of me. Like, he could have smoked at the table. But I think it's more that she's noticing that the fact that the lady does have a wedding ring. And then she asks about, do is Elizabeth Stoddard and Roger Collins still live in town? And Maggie tells her, yeah. And she, I remember Roger. He had a little boy. Maggie's like, yeah, David Collins. And there's nothing typical about David. Nothing a dungeon wouldn't help. Back for the holidays? Lady says, I'm really not sure why I came back. She always does seem like she has a lot on her mind. She's, pleasant and friendly and all this stuff, but she always does feel like it feels like she's always thinking about something else, talking to people, and then she's back on her own thoughts, and then talking. Like, it seems like her attention is always split. Oh, Thomas says it's not Carolyn, it's all about Vicky. Yeah. Carolyn is just a pawn for Burke. I don't even know if Carolyn is his type. But then we're back at the old house on the porch. And Matthew opens up the front door. There's David right there, like, what are you doing here? David turns around. I just went looking for you. I got some food for you here. Okay, come on in. Gets him inside. And he accuses him of snooping. David said, well, I was in here a couple minutes ago. I just went out to look for you. I thought you were outside. Where did you go? I was just here, like literally a couple of minutes ago. I just can't figure out where you were hiding at. Matthew grabs his arms, like, well, stop figuring. David's like, you hurt my arms. So Matthew lets him go. And then David wants to leave. Well, I better be getting back. God, I don't want, my Aunt Elizabeth to come here looking for me. Matthew says, I can tell when you're thinking. Well, I can tell when you're thinking something and you're not good at telling the truth. So now he's starting to get a little bit scary here. He's telling him, like, you will go to jail for helping me if you double cross me. Just don't be mad at me. Like, I'm sorry about your arm. Look, I'll see you tomorrow at breakfast. But fine by David. He wanted to leave anyway, so he gets out of there. And then Matthew, he heads out a minute or a couple seconds later. He's got to go get some water. Now, the old house does have two chimneys. And the only reason that's important is if you are going to draw it or build it in Minecraft. We do see the drawing room has a fireplace. We haven't seen it yet, but there is another room in the house that has a fireplace. Is that meant to be above the one that we see? Is it connected to the other fireplace? I don't know. I'll have to figure that out in Minecraft. Thomas Collins says they should put David on a merchant marine ship, and make a man out of him. He seems a little old to be hanging around. Yeah, David is 9, but he is a little psychopath. Like I was saying before, if it was me, if I was Roger, I would have sent that kid off to boarding school and not seen him again until he was 18. Like, would not have visited the kid, nothing. But that's just me. He's got the money for that. But Matthew's out there walking away from the old house, and David's there in the tree line watching him leave. And as soon as he's far enough away, David goes into the old house, through the drawing room, goes up to the bookcase. And once you get that close, there must be a switch that the characters can see that we can't, because it's just the edge of the bookshelf there. But he reaches in and touches something. We hear a little click. And the door just slides open, real gentle like. So he goes in, and he's shocked by what he sees. It's, we know what it is. It's Victoria with her hands tied up, all gagged up like that. And then for the credits, we can see right through one of those broken windows. Like I said, it goes right through, and then we can see the bookshelf on that far wall back there. Cool shot. And that's just the credits. Some of those other windows do look busted out, but it's just that they have them. It's like they dirtied up all the windows and just like cleaned it in an area to make it look like some of the other ones were busted out. They're not going to pay for all that glass just to break it. And it's not like the sugar shatter glass. We'll see that stuff later. Why is that glass lighter than the other ones? Oh, crashed. Oh, that's why. It's like they dirtied up all the windows and just like cleaned it in an area to make it look like some. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's enough. Yeah. Oh, don't bump that. There we go. Nice. Thomas Collins says Roger has to deal with me now. Yeah. Plus, the way Roger avoids responsibility, I don't see why he did not send his child away this way. He seems to have sent his wife off to a hospital at some point years ago. By now, it seems. All right, this is cute. This is one time when it does pay to have the DVDs, because anything before the intro music and the opening shot, you're not going to see on Tubi. I don't know if it's on Internet Archive, but it starts out with them holding a chalkboard, and it's like Dark Shadows, air date, VTR date, and maybe their numbering system. Uh, the scene's going to open up with Victoria already tied up, so the actress is sitting there in the chair all bound and gagged. And they've got the chalkboard just sitting on top of her knee. But she can't do anything. She can't even talk. So she's just like slowly just bouncing her. I can't work. Just bouncing her knee a little bit. So we can still read it, but it is shaking a bit. You can see the actress smiling. It's cute. Again, I'm just gonna fuck with you a little bit because I can. Like, let's get this started. I can't feel my arms. But yeah, this is episode 124. It aired December 15, 1966. And we're still in day 19. It's nighttime now. We're in the drawing room. They reshot the end where David comes into the drawing room, crosses the room, opens the door, walks in. He's shocked to see Victoria. So we sort of get to see a little bit of the end of the last episode, and then they just add more to that scene. I kind of wish they would have. Oh, sorry. It's okay. I thought I made a mistake. I didn't. Dramatic pause. I like when they just take a scene and continue on with it in the next episode. I kind of wish they would have done that a little bit more instead of just refilming the end of the last episode at the beginning of the next episode. But it's just a minor nitpick. It doesn't make the show worse because they didn't do it that way. But David cannot believe his eyes. He's shocked. As imaginative as this kid is, it seems like that's the last thing he imagined, finding a secret room with Victoria tied up inside, because he genuinely seems surprised. Like WTF surprised. But he said, I knew someone was in here. So he pulls down the gag from her mouth, and Victoria just, hurry up and untie me. If Matthew finds you here, he'll kill us both. And just then we hear thunder. David said, Matthew wouldn't kill us. He doesn't want anyone to find him. And he's the only person who likes me. And he just acts that way because he doesn't know any better. Victoria, untie me. Matthew's afraid you're going to tell someone. And then we hear some banging sound. At first you think it's the door slamming shut, but then we keep hearing the same banging sound. And they're scared. Nobody would slam the door that much, though. David, steps outside, looks, and we can see one of those. Remember before when Nana's back up against the wall, there are shutters for those two sides of the bay windows. It's just the opposite bay window. You can just see that slamming against the windows. Probably a stagehand down there doing it. But it's just the shutters. So David comes back in, tells her that. Victoria's like, as soon as I get out of these, I'm going to call the cops. So David's in the middle of, untying her, and he stops doing that. Like, well, if you tell the sheriff, then they'll know I helped Matthew. I could be sent to jail. Like, now he doesn't know what to do. He's honestly really confused here. We've never seen him this confused before. We haven't seen him this scared before. Now he cares about abducting people. He didn't care about leaving Victoria locked up in that secret room in the West Wing to starve and die, but now he's worried about it. But he's scared. He doesn't know what to do. Doesn't want to go to jail. He just, it looks like he's about to start crying. He just runs out of the room. And Victoria's like, no, David, come back. It seems like she's like also tied to the chair the way she's just sitting there stuck. It's not like she just doesn't feel like standing up right now. But he's gone. He's out the door. Fast AF. Did you untie her already? Yeah, I mean, just like loosen one arm at least. Jeez. I don't care if it's my left arm. It'll figure it out. So we're in the Collinsport Inn, and we see the lady finally ordered something. She's got a plate in front of her. It's got toast there. Toast is always cut diagonally. Any bread you see, cut diagonally. But it's sitting there on the edge of the plate, completely untouched. And it's a white plate with something white on it. So like eggs, maybe? I don't know. We really can't tell. It's not like it really gets that much of a close-up. Maggie walks up to her. She's got a little notepad out. She's like, so you didn't eat anything? Hate to charge you for that, but gotta do it. Lady just like, oh, well, I guess I just don't have much of an appetite. She's like, I don't even really know why I came in here. Oh, you mentioned Roger was in an accident once. That might be a premiere. Yeah, that's a premiere. That's not live. That's something you've seen before. But Maggie says, yeah, but, well, people around here think that an innocent man went to jail for that accident, and that innocent man is now back in town. Burke Devlin. And the lady, we can tell she recognizes that name. So Maggie goes on. She says, I don't know if he made his money crooked or straight, but he's got it. And he's staying right here in this hotel. And that's when the lady admits she knows who Burke is. And Maggie says, he's got a chip on his shoulder so big it's a wonder he can walk straight. Maggie's got some great one-liners. But the lady says, oh, well, he wasn't always that way. Opens up her purse, takes out her cigarettes and her matches, lights up. Thomas Collins, yeah, hey, watch that top knot. Gotta learn the ropes, kid. So Maggie tries to guess where she's from. It's like, Boston, New York, and lady really doesn't. You can tell she's trying to control her reactions and not give anything away. Like, no, I'm from somewhere out west. Arizona. Maggie's like, wow, that's great. I always told myself I was going to leave Collinsport one day soon. Where at in Arizona? She says Phoenix. Maggie says, I like that name. And the lady goes on to say, Phoenix is named after a mythical bird. It builds a funeral pyre at the end of its life, and then it's reborn from the ashes to live 500 years. Maggie doesn't know about that. She says, I don't know, you might come out worse than you were before. The lady says, yeah, anything's better than... She doesn't finish that sentence. And Maggie seems to have reconsidered. She's like, well, that's actually not a bad idea if you've had a rough life. And the lady says, well, the important thing is to find a new way of life after that. And personally, that's just New Year's Day for me. I very much live each year independently of the year that came before it. So I don't try to compare. I don't try to live my life the same way every single year. I realize every year is different, and New Year's Day is a reset for that. So I sort of get what she means, but it's not a every 500-year thing for me. But it's a good time to evaluate things, and if you want to change something, go ahead and make that change then. That's what I take it as. But then Maggie says, you talk like things were rough for you when you were here before, but you came back. And the lady's like, well, there are things that must be done. And she does open up a little bit. She does say she's been traveling around. She's been gone for 10 years. And she's stayed in other towns for a couple of weeks, a few days, just sort of kept moving around and ended up in Phoenix. And then Maggie tries to ask some more questions, and the lady takes the fact that there's a storm going on in the back. We can see that it's lighting up from the lightning through the window behind them. Lady says, "Oh, it sounds like that storm's coming in from the northeast." Maggie says, "Yeah, we get our best storms from that way." And Maggie tries to ask her another question, and the lady kind of cuts her off there. "Could I have some more coffee?" Maggie, "Yep, sure." So in the woods, Matthew comes across David. And, thunder and lightning going on, so it's kind of scary out in the woods during a thunderstorm. But he grabs David's wrist. "What are you doing out here? You left ahead of me." David's, I took the wrong path. I saw a cop, so I hid for a long time until he went away." Matthew said, "That's good thinking. I don't believe you." "What did you find out?" "You're coming back with me." And he grabs his other wrist. He's got him just by both arms. He's trying to drag him away. David's like, "No, it's dinner time. They're going to come looking for me. I want to go home." So we jump back into the secret room. She's still tied up, but that gag's down around her neck because David, pulled it down and then he ran out. He didn't have time to put it back up. So jump back into the woods. There's Matthew, and he's pulling David off to the side, just trying to take him back. I guess the old house is that way. But he gets so far with them, and there's a big ass rock on the ground. He doesn't see it there. Trips over it, stumbles, and falls. Let's go with David. So David books it in the other direction. Matthew's yelling at him, but he's not gonna run after him. He's got other stuff to do, so he heads off in the other direction. Let's see how Matthew goes camera right to the old house. I've forgotten my left and right for the camera in the moment here. Usually that's more clear. If I write camera right and camera left, that makes more sense than right and left and right. But anyway, we're back in the Collinsport Inn, and the lady's just sipping her coffee. All she's had is coffee, a couple sips of water, and cigarettes. This is all we've seen her eat. Well, she hasn't even eaten anything. But as she's, sipping her coffee, minding her own business, door opens up, and walks Sam. And, like the door opens, so you go to glance back, and then you see who it is, and you turn back real quick. That's what she does. Like, she noticed Sam, but he was sort of not really looking up at anybody when he walked in, so I don't think he noticed that. I'll see you later, Francois. Have a good night. Smash that like button on the way out. Helps out the channel. And Merry Christmas. I don't know how to say that in French. Now we can see the signs a little bit better. The menu's up on the wall. It says all pies 25 cents. Is that a slice of pie or a whole pie? I don't care. I'm going in there with a couple of bucks. I'm chowing down on some pie. And donuts. Donuts in that with the cover on it. They're not a character in the scene, but they're sitting back there. So I'm glad they're still on the show. Eat your donuts if you have them. And then Sam just kind of walks up to the counter. He doesn't really seem like he's quite that awake, even though it's nighttime now. And he's hungover is what it is. He was out drinking all last night, and so he's still way hungover today. It's been almost a whole day and he's still hungover, so it had been there. And he doesn't even remember if he got home last night or this morning. And so Maggie's like, well, it was this morning. Sam, oh, well, thank whoever brought me home. Maggie says, you got yourself home. Oh. She tries to offer him something to eat. He's like, oh, no, no, I'm still just going to basically say that he's still hungover. If he eats now, it's just going to upset his stomach. So he shouldn't eat anything until way late tonight. So I guess he knows his own body. So she's like very slightly sarcastically. You can tell she's had to have this kind of conversation with him before, but she's okay. Did you paint anything today? Sam, oh yeah, yeah, I did actually. Reaches into his coat pocket. He's got his sketchbook. He starts flipping through. Oh, I just drew something today that I really like. Here it is. It shows it too. We can't really see it. Maggie looks at it. She says, I've seen this before. Sam's like, what? You can't have seen that before. I just drew it today. Maggie says, you showed this to me last week. Sam, oh, did I? Oh. He takes it back. He puts it in his pocket. And we really do get the sensation this is not the first time that this has happened. Maggie says something, mentions like all that talent just going to waste. Is it because of the booze? Sam, no, it's not the booze. I just got other things going on, other things I'm involved in, and I want to paint Collinsport, like just paint the atmosphere of the town. So Maggie says, what if we moved to Phoenix? Sam's got this what look on his face, but Maggie's like, that lady's from there. She's from Collinsport, but she's back in town, and I don't know her name. Sam looks over at her. And he's looking at her way harder than Joe did, just staring at the back of her head. She hasn't turned back around since he first walked in. Sam's like, yeah, she does look familiar. Just maybe different hair. Maggie's like, well, that she knows a lot about the Collins family and about Roger's accident and Burke Devlin. And she's back after 5 or 6 years. I don't know about that 5 or 6 years thing because the lady just got done saying she was here 10 years ago. So I don't know why she said it, but she said it, so I wrote it down. But we know that's not right. I don't know if that's just a continuity error. I don't know if Maggie gives Sam inaccurate information just to test him. I really don't know. I'm kind of just chalking it up to a continuity error. But Sam, like the whole time Maggie's talking to him, he's staring at the back of this lady's head. He's like, well, find out her name for me, will you? It's important. And then he goes. So now we're back in the secret room. And Matthew walks in, sees Victoria sitting there, tied up, but that gag's down. Like, how did you get that off? It was David, wasn't it? Victoria's like, no, I worked it off. It's like, yeah, David was in here. She's like, no, nobody was in here. It's just me. And Matthew's really getting upset. I can't take any more chances. I've got to do something now. So then we're in the Collinwood foyer. The lights are off. Really, the only lights are some lights way up high on the stage, but we don't know that because this is a real building. We're not on a stage. So we can see, but it's very dark. And David runs in. he's hollering for his dad, hollering up the stairs, yelling into the living room. Dude looks so panicked. Yeah, nobody comes out. He just looks scared as hell. And then we see the drawing room for the credits. The old, dusty, musty drawing room with the furniture knocked over and picture frames without frames in them and busted down wooden crates and little tables tipped over and broken windows, dirty glass, cobwebs. If they have a chance to put cobwebs in there somewhere, they do it. All right, audio. And busted down wooden crates and little. Close enough. It's not doing the echo thing. Oh, stop touching that. Stop touching that. Bad touch. Bad touch. Show me on the cord where it touched you. What is that? Thomas Collins, Joy Noel. I don't. Yeah. I don't want to butcher French. It's bad enough. Not French is bad enough. I just can't. I just had never studied it. I don't know. I don't want to get it wrong. It seems like it's very hard to learn how to do very well. Maybe if you're not French, you always have an accent when you speak it. All right, episode 125. This aired December 16, 1966. It's still nighttime on that 19th day, and there must have been an earthquake going on because we see the establishing shot for the old house, and I just thought it was maybe a paused frame or a still photo of the old house, but it's like somebody is holding it up, but they didn't realize, like, they're trying to get it in the right spot for the camera, because all we see is the old house shaking around like this. So I don't know. I didn't know that there were earthquakes up in Maine. Nobody ever mentions it any other time, but they had one then. We never see the old house move around. That's so much. It's so silly. Oh, lost my spot. What episode are we on? 124, 124, 124, 125. There we go. Yeah, earthquake at the old house. But then we are back. Actually, we're in the Collinwood foyer. There's that thunderstorm going on outside still. And David, he's still hollering for his father. And so finally a door opens up. Roger comes in. And he is just, I was just up in the east wing closing windows. Which is a little bit odd. They always talk about the west wing being closed up. Is the east wing just where the rest of the house is? They never refer to the part of the house they live in as the east wing that I can recall, so I don't know why they're saying this now. Maybe to just imply that Roger's been walking a far distance, checking all of the windows, since they don't have Matthew around to do that kind of thing. But he's busy. He doesn't have time to listen to David. He's got to go out. He's got to make sure the garage is locked. He has to make sure the greenhouse is closed up. Can't stop to talk to this kid. And David said, "No, I got to tell you something right now. It's important." Roger's fine. What is it? David, well, I'll tell you, but you have to promise I won't get in trouble. Roger's like, I'll promise no such thing. If you've done something wrong, you'll be punished for it. David, you're making a big mistake. Now I can't tell you because you want me punished. Roger says, I want you to stop your devilment. You're the cause of half the trouble in this house. Go to bed. Shouldn't have wasted my time talking to you. Now I'm gonna get rained on before I can get out to. So he's like if he wasn't agitated before, now he's pissed off on top of it. So Roger says, or not Roger, but David. Well, I hope you catch pneumonia and die. Roger says, you go to your room. You better be asleep when I get back. Out the door. So David's just standing there. He still doesn't know what to do. He's just as confused as he was before. Then over in the secret room, Matthew's saying he wants to leave before it rains. So he grabs a paper bag. He starts taking food off of those two shelves in the back. He's taking food down, putting it in the bag. And Victoria's just really, we're getting it's getting serious when he's bagging up food. So she's just trying to stop him. She's like, well, I'm only going to slow you down. Matthew's not trying to hear that, but then we hear that banging sound of the shutter, so that makes him stop. And then Matthew thinks he hears footsteps. So he says he feels something in the old house. Goes into the drawing room. He's looking around. Doesn't see anything. We know it's that shutter. I think we even see it again. Comes back in the room. Secret room anyway. And he's saying that my enemies are everywhere. Even you. Victoria says, I said I would do what you want. That means I'm your friend. Matthew's just, I was doing something just now. What was it? Victoria says, you were going to leave. Yeah. Looks up on the shelf. Where's the food? Victoria points with her head. It's right there in that bag. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm gonna pull up the car and then we'll go. So you gag back around Victoria's mouth. So now we're back in the foyer at Collinwood. The clock says 11 p.m. And David walks in from the living room. He doesn't know what to do. But as he's standing there, back behind him, sort of by the kitchen door, we see this figure start to emerge. And we can tell it comes into focus enough that we can see it's Bill Malloy standing there in that trench coat. He doesn't have any seaweed on him. It might even be the same actor. At least it sounds like him. But he says to David, like, do you recognize me? David says, you're Bill Malloy. And all Bill keeps repeating is that help Victoria Winters, help Victoria Winters. So David asks him, he's like, did my father kill you, or was it Matthew? And Bill Malloy just help Victoria Winters, just fades away, dissipates to nothing. And as soon as he vanishes, Roger comes in. Right away, David turns to him. I just saw Bill Malloy's ghost. Roger says, what? I am sick of this. I told you to be up in your room and be asleep. That's it. Like grabs his arm. He's taking him up the stairs, reading him the riot act the whole way up. He does not want to hear it. I wouldn't want to hear it either. But now we're in the woods, and Matthew was walking through, but he stopped because we still see it again. This apparition appears. It's Bill Malloy. So Matthew stops, and Bill's saying that Matthew's like, you're the man who killed me. Matthew just said, no, that the dead don't come back. And Bill says that someone at Collinwood will die tonight. Freaky as hell. Well, we're right back in the living room. David, he's snuck downstairs. He's wearing his PJs now. Gets on the phone to the Collinsport Inn. Is Burke there? No. Well, we'll leave him a message. Tell him to come to Collinwood. It's about Vicky Winters. Hangs up. So over in the secret room, Victoria's like, she finally gets her hands free. Gets up through the drawing room. Opens the front door. Matthew's right there. So she backs up. She doesn't want to be near this dude. But he's not like grabbing her and trying to take her back into the secret room. He's very kind of docile, just kind of standing there looking at her, almost smiling at her a little bit. And he calls her Mrs. Stoddard. Like, well, I'm done locking up for the night. Is there anything you want me to do before I head back to my cottage? Victoria, no, but Matthew, that's fine. You did really well. I'm gonna go up to my room now. Matthew's like, wait, we're in the old house. Why would we be here? So Victoria just, remember, we were looking for David, but he's not here, so I'm gonna go. Matthew's just, oh, okay, I just feel like I just woke up from a dream. I saw Bill Malloy's ghost, and he seemed real. Why was I in the woods? I remember I was hiding from the police. And Victoria's like, well, it's late, so I'm gonna go to my room. I'm going back to Collinwood. Good night. And she makes a line for the front door, opens it up. Matthew closes it. She backs up from him. It's like, wait a minute. You're not Mrs. Stoddard. You're Miss Winters. And you're trying to get away. But now he takes hands on her, grabs her, drags her across the room into the secret room again. Just that close to getting away again. But now we're outside of Collinwood, right at the front door on the outside, and Burke's there. He's got his raincoat on. It's soaking wet, so it's downpouring out. He's banging on the door loud as hell, trying to get somebody's attention. In the foyer, there's Roger, comes downstairs, opens it up. Of course, he's not happy to see Burke. Burke just walks right in. He's like, David left a message for me about Victoria. Go get him. Roger says, I will not. Burke says, well, I'm not leaving until I find out what he knows. Roger, absolutely not. You're not coming here late at night and waking up half the house. Get out. So Burke threatens to get rough with him again, the way he had him like up against the wall when he was there before with the shotgun. It was Roger's shotgun, but basically threatening to do more of the same. So Roger says, I could have you arrested for this. For breaking and entering. Burke says, do it. But just then, the door upstairs opens up. David comes running down the stairs. Burke meets him right there. So then we're back in the secret room. Victoria's now got her hands tied up again. And Matthew's saying, I'm going to do what I should have done in the first place. Kill you. Gave you plenty of chances, but now I can't take you with me. Besides, the ghosts want you dead. Victoria's like, I thought you said you don't believe in ghosts. Says, I do now. Saw Bill Malloy's ghost, and he said someone will die at Collinwood tonight. Victoria says, Bill liked me. He wouldn't want me dead. Matthew says, the widows would. They want a third girl. I'll kill you, and then the ghosts will stop following me. Been afraid all my life, and now I won't be. Then he's saying how he wants to kill her quick. So he says, I'll be back soon. And then we see the drawing room, the picture of Josette. And we can see across the way to the bookshelf for the credits that shot through the broken glass there. So episode 126 aired on December 19, 1966. It's still day 19. It's nighttime. There's a thunderstorm going on. It's raining now. And we're in the secret room. Matthew is saying that the ghosts that haunt Collinwood and the old house because they want that third girl. So then he ties her hands extra. Like, she's already got rope around her hands. Now he's using a second set of rope to tie her up even tighter. It's like, you won't feel a thing in a few minutes. Animals led to slaughter don't know what hit them. Victoria says, I'm a human. Widows aren't real. They don't exist. Matthew says, I didn't think so before. But they're all around us telling me to kill you. I gotta obey. So he just walks on out to the front door. He's out the room. And Victoria's just crying for help. She's just screaming, just anybody help me, frantic. It's getting dire. But over in the foyer, Roger is saying that David just wants to stir up excitement. David's like, no, I know something important. Then he says he thinks his dad wants to send him to jail. So Burke gets down on David's level. He's like kind of just crouched down so he can be eye level with this kid. But Burke tells him that they don't put little boys in jail. Roger says they can be punished if they've done something wrong. David says that the ghost told him to call Burke. And Roger is sarcastic AF. It's like, oh, so that's what this is. We've been dragged from our beds in the middle of the night so my charming son can tell us an imaginary account of seeing a ghost. David, it was Bill Malloy. He told me to help Victoria. I know where she is. With Matthew. New location, shed. We've never seen a shed on the show before. It just has hanging up there what things you would imagine. It's made out of wood. But Matthew's in there and he looks around and he stops when he sees what we're about to see. The camera kind of pulls back. It's like when you have like a stump of wood and that's what you're using for like the base for chopping wood. So there's just this little hand axe with the end stuck in it. It's smaller. It's an axe. You know what an axe looks like. This is just my rusty Tuthmosis the First. But this is sort of like a little bit longer, like a fireman's axe. The one he has is maybe about a like 1.5 foot long handle on it. It's something anybody could just swing easily, like one-handed. But he gets his eyes on that. So in the drawing room, we see Josette's picture. And then we see this apparition just come down from it. It's some lady in a white dress, white veil with something white on her head, lacy, something or other. Just floats on down. And then we're back in the shed. We see Matthew. There's the wheel to turn to grind the axe, so he's got that going, just holding it down to because he's left-handed. So it looks convincing enough. Gotta make sure the axe is sharp. It's nice and shiny. It's not like mine. But in the secret room, there, just that apparition just appears. It's Josette. And she's telling Victoria to don't cry, don't be afraid. Well, Victoria is afraid. She's like, why are you saying that? Tell me, please. Like, why shouldn't I be afraid? She just repeats it, just don't be afraid. And just vanishes away. She was there 1 second, now she's gone. Dandy, a hatchet. Nasty nonetheless. Kind of like when Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead was killing everybody with the hatchet for a while. It's like that. Hatchet, that's what it is. A little hand axe. Now, all they've done with this lady, it's like they took someone, they took the dress and whatever Josette's wearing in the portrait, put it on an actress, but then you've got some, maybe it's cheesecloth. It's just like this white fabric that's just pinned to whatever that bonnet is. So, like, we can't see this actress's face. All of this is covered up. We might see a little bit of her hair and a tiny bit of forehead, but all of that's covered up. We couldn't, we don't know who this lady is. We just know it's a lady. But back in the foyer now, Roger is saying that, oh, I know, you just saw Victoria in your crystal ball. David's like, I didn't. I talked to her. Burke's like, don't explain to me how you know this. Just tell me where she is. David says, but I want to explain. We don't care. We really don't care. Burke doesn't care. Roger doesn't care. The audience doesn't care. This kid's been sitting on this information for so long. He could have told Roger before. He could have told Burke before. He could have told anybody, but he's not. And somebody's about to die because he expects people to play his game before he gives out any information. I see why he has no friends. Okay. Burke's like, okay, explain. Like, if it'll get us through this faster, I'll do it. But David is explaining how he was just helping Matthew because he thought he was innocent and he brought him food and he's snitching on himself. David, well, if I tell you where she is, will you promise I won't get in trouble? Burke said, I just did. I just told you that in the last scene. I've never gone back on my word, have I? No. So he finally says that Matthew is at the old house. Where the sheriff and Burke have already searched. David says, no, it's in a secret. There's a secret at the old house. Only I know. And Matthew knows too, and that's where he has Victoria. So over on the porch at the old house, we see Matthew walking up. He's got that hatchet in his hand, coming up the stairs. Goes into the secret room. First thing out of Victoria's mouth is, I saw Josette's ghost. And that makes Matthew stop. So over in the foyer, he tells them that if you go up to the bookshelf, there's it's under the second, bookshelf shelf. You pull the sleever forward, that opens it up. Burke says, get me a shotgun. Roger says, David is a congenital liar. Damn. Burke says, if he's not lying and you don't give me a gun, you'll be responsible if something happens to Victoria. Roger says, I'll get 2. I'm going with you. So over in the secret room, Victoria's saying that the ghost told me not to be afraid. And that means they don't want me to die. If you kill me, they'll come back and haunt you until you're dead too. Matthew's always, he's got to reconsider everything now. He's got to think about that. And thankfully, he doesn't seem to think very quickly. In the foyer, here we go. Roger has both shotguns, rifles, whatever you want to call it. They're double-barreled shotguns, aimed right at the camera. I don't know if there's a trigger discipline violation because we can't see his finger because the barrels are right in front of the lens, but don't aim the weapon at the if you know if we know there's a cameraman behind that camera. I mean I can't aim a gun at this because I'm live, but if I was recording I could do that because there's nobody filming this, so it wouldn't quite be that rude. And I would check to make sure it wasn't loaded first, but we didn't see Roger check. But Burke's saying, well, let's load up now. We won't have time to load when we're out there. Then he adds, I won't shoot you, Collins, but I've thought about it. And David wants to go too, but no, so they take off. So we're back in the secret room, and Victoria's saying that, well, the ghost will turn on you if you kill me. And I wouldn't lie about a thing like that. Matthew says, the ghosts want you dead, and so do I. Raises the axe up. Victoria screams. Ooh, I was scared. But as soon as he gets his arms up, we hear some lady's voice saying, Matthew. That makes him stop. Says there's something in this house and it won't leave alive. Runs out of the room. He's in the drawing room. Then we see this another apparition come in. We've seen this before. It's Bill Malloy. It fades in. He's singing his song. He's saying, I want your life. All he's repeating at him. And Matthew just said, no! And he's swinging his axe through the air. He's not hitting him. Bill's just laughing at him. He's screaming, swinging. He's not getting anywhere. Bill just laughs harder. So Matthew finally stops and backs up a bit. And remember that door I told you about that's in the back there? Through that, we get more apparitions coming into the room. It's these 4 ladies in like 1800s, 1700s style clothing. If I knew about vintage, I could place it more, but let's just say at least 100 years old at that type of clothing. And it's 4 ladies. They're not close enough that we can see their faces. But they're just repeating that, your life, your life. And Matthew just screaming, what do you want? He's just swinging the axe again, trying to hit these ladies, and nothing's working. He's scared as hell. And as he's swinging the axe, he's sort of backing up towards that door. There's the door, then there's some more wall before we get the bay windows. So he's backing up into that area. He's swinging the axe. It's kind of in the center of the shot. But now we're in the secret room, so we're getting everything from Victoria's perspective. We're not hearing any of that I want your life stuff. All we hear is Matthew screaming, saying no. He yells at, stay away from me. And he screams, lets out this terrible scream. And there's just silence. So Victoria just hollers out there, what's happening? And that's when we hear Burke yell for her. And dude, I was so relieved. Oh my God. And just, I'm in here. So they, come in through the door, through the drawing room, right in there. And Burke, you got a knife? Roger hands him some pocket knife, so he's cutting those ropes around Victoria's wrist. First thing she asks, did David tell you where I was? Roger says, yes, but I didn't believe him. So Victoria says, "Be careful. Matthew's got an axe." You all right? Can you walk? She's yeah. So Bert kind of helps her up. They'll walk out into the living room, or not the living room, but the drawing room. And they don't get too far in before Roger's like, "Look!" And then we see it too, back where Matthew was backing up to. That this wasn't there before, but suddenly there's a chair there up against the wall, and Matthew's sitting in it, but he's all slumped forward, like we can't see his face or nothing. He's just like that. He's not moving. He's not looking up. Not nothing. Burke's got Vicky, so Rogers, he still has his shotgun. He's not aiming it at him, thankfully. He's got it kind of down, but he's just edging up towards him closer, like, all right, Matthew, just stay calm and just come quietly. Roger gets closer to him, and he just barely touches, just barely, like, he doesn't even, he's not even trying to pull him in any kind of direction, just making a really light touch on his shoulder. And as soon as he does, Victoria screams because this dude just goes, like, we get like the touch, and dude just slumps down to the floor. He's not moving, not nothing, and just they're like, he's dead. They've seen enough. They get out of there. And we see the drawing room for the credits. Uh, so yeah, that's a second death on the show. Bill Malloy and now Matthew Morgan. I would say R.I.P., but we've sort of like he went like I was okay with him before, and then it turns out he was not such a good guy. So it's good that he's. It's bad to say this. It's good that he's dead because he was a threat. I'm only upset about it because I like that actor and I want to see more of him. So that's the only reason I'm sad that Matthew's gone. But on the whole, he should have been locked up, killed, like away somewhere. He's a dangerous guy. Uh, so yeah, I guess R.I.P. Matthew Morgan. F's in the chat, but it's he had to go. So that's just how it goes sometimes. But Victoria's safe now. We don't have to worry about her, so it's everything. And we can all relax. Everything can go back to normal, and normal for Collinsport. But the crisis averted. Victoria's safe, like I said. So, oh, good. And then we will hopefully continue with this in a couple of days on Saturday. In real life, it is Christmas Day. And since my audio messed up last time, I got to do these again. I don't like to repeat myself, but I want a good copy of every one of these episodes on YouTube for you guys. So yeah, we'll continue next time, and I hope everybody has a happy Merry Christmas for the next it's almost 9 o'clock, so for the rest of the day, whenever your midnight is. My midnight, technically, it doesn't become tomorrow for me until 6:08 in the morning, so if I wanted to stretch out Christmas, I could, but I'm not going to stay up all night. I personally don't have any holidays where one needs to be up at any version of midnight doing a thing. So I don't understand why everybody has to be up specifically at 12 a.m. to, air quotes, bring in the new year in December, January. What? Why celebrate the new year so late? But yeah, Dandy says thanks, Nikki. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. Just got a few minutes left here. Let's see. Like I was saying, you can watch Dark Shadows for free. They just found it on YouTube, but I was watching it on Tubi. I think I was watching it on Tubi back in 2021. But yeah, that's where that's when I watched it in January, the first time I marathoned it, because I got the After I finished marathoning it, that's when I bought the box set. That's what I'm specifically watching to do these reviews rather than watching them on Tubi, because sometimes it gets a little bit finicky when you need to go back and watch something. Plus, there's ads. I don't want to have to mess with that. That just cuts into my time. But yeah, they've got it on Tubi for free. Link in the description for the channel and for the show. It's also on Internet Archive for free. Pluto TV has some of it. If you watch it when it originally aired, I would not expect anybody to remember this much detail from a TV show that was on 59 years ago. Oh, one to go to. Glad you made it. Says I've been lurking this whole time. That was a wonderful set of reviews. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to watch. It gets exciting in this little town. A lot happens in 19 days. And then we are right about to go into another storyline. And then right after that, we'll be almost up to episode 210 with the cast additions. I'll put it like that. It's not just one person coming onto the show, it's about three, from what I can remember, that really make a difference for the rest of the show. Yeah. They made some really good decisions around episode 200-ish, and that's why the show continued for another 4 years. Oh, I love that I found this out from a comment rather than from the rest of the world, but apparently they're going to have a 60-year anniversary for Dark Shadows, like, convention meetup thing in, I believe it's Los Angeles, going on from July 31st till August 2nd. This year for me, but next year for you in 2026. Um, that's cool because there are some of the actors that are still with us, thankfully. I assume they would be there for that. I don't know what goes on at conventions. I'm not saying I'm going to that. I would like to be done with the reviews before then. Oh, I guess that's August. That's almost next year. Oh my goodness! But that is going on. I heard that somebody mentioned that in a comment, and then I went to official type place I go to online, and they had it posted there. Like, oh, I'm glad I heard it from you guys first. So that's cool. And the shirt is Gray Still Plays Not Today's Satan. Link in the description. Not affiliated. I'm just a fan of the guy. Dare say he's one of my heroes. I look up to that guy. He does everything right. And I do have super chats opened up. I've got Venmo and Buy Me a Coffee because YouTube decided to take down my episode from December 26th. So I got mad and started my own super chats with blackjack and hookers. No, it's your money doesn't go to hookers and blow. That is, it just goes directly to myself. You're not sending your money out of the country. You're not supporting AI. I read all of those comments. Live on my next show whenever they come in. I've got that open up. I'm kind of just pushing it out there. One, because I've got a birthday in less than a month. And two, I've got an email from Buy Me a Coffee talking about, like, tag us and mention us and do all this other stuff. And we might put some money in your account. Sure you will. Uh-huh. I believe it. They wouldn't even give me $5, but I don't know, on the off chance. I already have it tagged in every single episode that I do since I got it, so I don't know, you guys, is that worth $10? It already takes a week to get a friggin' payout from those people, but I don't do this for money. I do this because it's fun and entertaining, and I've always wanted to be online. Just being in front of a camera, and you guys let me do that. So you guys are awesome. Since I am basically broke, the shows are the gift, and I'm glad you guys let me do this for you guys. I'm getting mushy now. So thank you guys for your likes and your subscribes and all of your support. And hopefully I can continue on with the Dark Shadows reviews on Saturday and keep this going. I'm looking forward to that. I'll always look forward to seeing you guys. You guys are the best thing about life. I like seeing you guys. I like Dark Shadows. I like Minecraft. I like to eat, but that last one is not as important. I have to remind myself that I can live off of the drama from Dark Shadows, so that's what I'm focusing on getting my calories from. And you guys let me talk about it, which is fantastic. It makes it feel like everything is coming full circle. So thank you guys for being here and being Franklies and being based and sexy. So get some good sleep, get something to smoke out on the balcony, have a good meal, stay hydrated. Uh, what am I forgetting to say? I always forget something to say. I never end these very well. Let's see, sexy and based. It's fine. It's not like I'm not seeing you guys again in a couple of days, but I love seeing you guys. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, however you guys say it. And I'm glad you had a couple of extra hours on a holiday to spend with me. You guys make all of the trouble worth it. Oh my goodness, Want to Go To said David Hennessy is now 69. That's David. Oh, little David. Danny, I'm not on tomorrow, but I'm on Saturday. I want to see what Minecraft looks like with the. I'm usually off on Fridays anyway. I do want to do Friday shows. Part of me wants to start doing Friday shows. But I want to see what Minecraft looks like with that holiday stuff. It doesn't seem like you can turn it off. I think all it does is turn the chests into presents, which is fine. I don't have a lot of chests. I have more barrels than chests. Uh, yeah, that's true. So yeah, love you guys again. Thanks for hanging out. Smash the like button on the way out. It helps the channel. Oh, I got up to 260 subscribers last night, so thank you for that. I never thought I would get up that high with subscribers. Apparently, you only need 500 to have memberships on your channel. I thought it was 1,000, but it's only 500, so I'm more than halfway there. But yeah, I love you guys. You've been great. Take it easy. You can leave your pants on the floor. Merry Christmas again. Until next time.